Hello everybody and welcome back to another C++ video, and today we will be going over comments and variables in C++. Okay, so we'll start off by going over comments. A few main things you need to know are that they're used to help the person writing the code understand things better. The comments are ignored by the computer and don't change what the computer does when you run the program. And lastly, comments can be used to test out alternative code. Now we're basically going to put this all into practice with a quick example. So here we have all this example code and it prints out the words hello world. So now let's say we wanted to write a comment after the code that specifies to print out the words hello world to let us know that printing out those words is what it's doing. So what we can do is if the comment's only one line long, we'll type in 2 forward slashes and then whatever we want. So let's just say this prints out the words hello world. So while at first it may not seem too helpful, as you start to code more and more complex things, it'll become very beneficial to put comments like this so that you don't have to try to understand all of the code and instead you could just read the comments. So yeah, overall comments are pretty simple. The only other thing you really need to know is that if you want a comment to be more than 1 line long, what you can do is put a forward slash and then an asterisk, and then to just put whatever you want in the comment, and then after the end of the comment you'll put an asterisk and then another forward slash. Then we'll run this code again and you'll notice that nothing will change. Okay, so now for variables. So by definition, a variable is a quantity that may assume any one of a set of values. So basically it's just something that can have certain values. So of course there are a lot of different types of variables. So some of the most common ones include int, which just means whole numbers or integers, double, which represents numbers including those that have decimals, char, which just means a single character, string, which basically means a string of text or like a group of characters, and bool, which can represent only 2 different values, specifically true and false. So now we're back over here with the example code from before, and now I'll show you how to make a variable. So what you do is type in the keyword that specifies what type of variable it is. So let's do an integer, and then the name of the variable, so we'll just call it variable. Then an equal sign, and then whatever we want it to be equal to, so let's just use 17 for example, and of course finish it off with a semicolon. So now we have the variable created, and there are a lot of different things that we can do with variables. One of the most basic things is to just output it. So what I mean is, we'll type in cout, like we did up here, and then the 2 leftward arrows, and then the name of the variable, which is just variable, and end it off with a semicolon, and then we're going to run the code. And then you'll notice it'll, in addition to hello world, it'll also print the value of the variable, which is 17. So now we're basically going to build onto this. So something else we can do after initially creating the variable is change the value later on. So let's say after creating the variable, we wanted to change it to have the value 19 instead. What we can do is say the name of the variable, so just variable equals 19. And now we're going to run the code again. And now instead of printing 17, it'll print 19. Furthermore, we can combine text with variables using cout. So for example, let's say we wanted to say like the words the variable is and then the value of the variable. So after the first arrows, we'll put in quotes the variable is, and then we'll put another 2 arrows like that, and then the variable, and then we're going to run this. And notice it says the variable is 19. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to dive into for this episode. But in the next episode, we will go a little bit deeper into variables and maybe even cover some new concepts. Now, of course, one last thing, make sure to fill out the SurveyMonkey down below in the description, because that would help me a lot. But besides that, thank you so much for watching. That's about it, and I hope you enjoyed.